I have no idea what this video is about, but I learned a lot about King Vaughn's criminal history. A lot about Chief Keef's criminal history, but even Boosie's criminal history. A lot about Waka Flocka's criminal history through Trap Geek. So usually when I click one of these things, you feel me? It's interesting. So let's see.
You're a target, you're rapping about these people. Your house is 10 times the size of their house. That would make me dislike me if I was on the other side.
I don't need you, all I needed myself. I wasn't asking nobody for help. She wanted me because her name ringing bells. Designer the G, so designer the bell.
He was just like my favorite rapper, literally of anyone. He was my favorite.
When you really think about it, yeah, most artists do get killed in their home city. And why do you think that is?
Hatred. People looking at you, saying, I wish that was me.
Bullets sent many fleeing for their lives here on this stretch. Now, the 21-year-old has been identified as a popular Toronto rapper.
All right, we gotta talk about the Houdini story, right? The jealousy and hatred rappers gotta deal with in their own home city is terrible. And that's a fact in every state in America. But one of the most violent cities right now for up-and-coming rappers to make it out of is Toronto. And people don't realize this. There's a reason Toronto's becoming one of the most surveyed cities in North America. It's looking like Beijing. They're getting cameras everywhere. Only Atlanta, Chicago, and DC got more surveillance per person. And that's because of the ongoing gang war that's been escalating for years, right? It's literally hunting season on rappers.
But to be honest, when the mafia controlled the American gun and drug trade, they were doing a damn good job at hiding it and concealing their controlled organized crime. They didn't admit to killing, and they only killed people for sure just to keep things hush hush. They didn't go out bending corners shooting at niggas because they had a different color than them. Even the OG Bloods and Crips didn't kill each other for different colors. They used it to band together and get to fight against police brutality. But the mafia was doing a great job at keeping it raps, keeping it undercover. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until America started to control the media and create movies and make the blue shoot the red and the red shoot the blue and think that it was this whole bad thing against each other to keep them, suppressed of obviously. But now it's getting crazy, man. This 14-year-old, I reacted to a video. I don't even know if I posted it before I posted this video, but as a 14-year-old who popped the pizza man, and we always heard about robbing a pizza guy. But that's the thing, like, since the generation of gun toters, like, blew up, like, people have been so reckless. And we can't fight the fact that they put these cameras out here because they probably could have been done that from day one, but they only didn't do it because they didn't have a need to. So why waste a bunch of money on CCTV and camera footage and cameras just to never use it? And then if they started from a long time using those cameras, then they would never see crime on the cameras. They'll catch the occasional, but people would already from the jump learn the first street rules about the hood is know how to move again out the camera angles and the blind sides, and you know what I'm saying? It would have been a thing, but I feel like we can't even fight the fact that they could put cameras everywhere. I don't think we can. We're gonna have to hide it in the street and commit our crime behind closed doors, like you're supposed to do it in the first place. And because so many silly niggas is out here doing what they want to do, living like fucking Vikings. You know what I'm saying? That's not y'all behavior. You know what I'm saying? They did something and made y'all think that way. And now you're forced to having cameras everywhere.
And that's exactly what happened to Houdini. Houdini was sitting down with record labels in LA, New York, collabing with Pop Smoke. This kid was the real deal. Until a couple weeks ago, he was brutally shot and killed in broad daylight in the entertainment district of downtown Toronto. And this shit was surgical. They used Glock 9s with 30-round mags. They took advantage of Corona season by wearing medical masks to hide their faces. There was a 6-year-old kid
that got recent. Oh shit! I didn't know. I didn't see this then.
caught in the crossfire, dodging bullets.
There
was a 6-year-old kid that got caught in the crossfire, dodging bullets.
That has a high capacity magazine. It's a 30-round magazine. And as this unfolds, I want you to pay attention to the little boy that ducks into the vestibule here.
The whole thing was nuts, right? And the city is shook right now. Now we're gonna get into all this, but before we do, my song of the day today is none other than Houdini himself. Let's go. Alright, in order to understand this story, we gotta focus on one hood in particular in Toronto called Driftwood, or Northside Jane and Finch, and this is where Houdini's from. Now they're by far...
I feel like Toronto turned up off of that American type vibe. Now I know a bunch of niggas gonna come in and attack me, but let's not act like we for a while it wasn't a wildly known thing that Canada are a bunch of full of nice people. They're extra nice over there in Canada. Canada's the nicest people in the world. So let's not act like that wasn't even a stereotype. But they turning up. And I'm about to say something about his music. Like, he's great, you know, but like he's nothing amazing. Like, he's nothing that can't
far the
create
most influential in terms of music in the city, but they're also a notorious Crip faction, right? They beef with pretty much everybody in the city. To the south of them, the south side of Jane and faction, most input, or north side Jane and music.
This game is about California, unless they making some. Unless that's about something other than San Andreas, but I guarantee that's about San Andreas.
In the city, but they're also a notorious Crip faction, right? They beef with pretty much everybody in the city. To the south of them, the south side of Jane and Finch, they bang Blood, and that's their direct rivals. The lowest income neighborhood in the city called Regent also has tension with Driftwood, stemming from rap beefs and rap killings. And another area called Rexdale has been Driftwood's rival for damn near a decade now. So they beef with everybody. Now in 2015, Driftwood kids kinda instilled the Chirac music vibe up in the north, in Canada. They were putting disses to rivals in their tracks and talking about the stuff they were doing in the streets in their lyrics.
If you diss my niggas, then you know we pulling triggers. Late nights with them killers, we kidnapping drug dealers.
Now that song is Robin Banks
that shit hit
in their lyrics.
I'm sorry.
If you diss my niggas, then you know we pulling triggers. Late nights with them killers, we kidnapping drug dealers.
Now that song is Robin Banks featuring Pressa. Pressa is one of the...
Robin Banks, say no more. Come on. Robin Banks or Robbing Banks? Which one do you say?
The few who... Now that song is Robin Banks featuring Pressa.
I think it's Robin Banks. I can't see it, Mike.
They gon' pick me up.
My niggas super sad, we be washed.
Alright, bet.
Press is one of the few who actually crossed over to the mainstream American scene, and he's actually living in Cali right now in a nice mansion. His rap career popped off for him, but before all that, he was involved in a case where he allegedly kidnapped 2 drug dealers, moving them around from location to location, holding them for ransom, until eventually forcing them to give each other head in front of everybody. 2 dudes. That's crazy. Now, Pressa was later cleared of those charges and granted the court's permission to go on tour with Drake out in England. And another rapper got 6 years in Pressa's place for the charge. Now, Pressa's partner, Robin Banks, who was in that track that I just showed, he was practically the pioneer for the scene, right? He had the torch early on from 2015, and he kind of started this organic hood label in Driftwood, where he was putting on all the rappers from his...
I wouldn't die until I kill you. if I was one of those drug dealers.
Area. Robbing banks started getting millions of views, caught the attention of Meek Mill, who really rocked with the movement. Meek Mill and robbing banks were sending paperwork back and forth. He was about to sign a deal with the Dream Chasers, and to celebrate, he was having the party at a hookah lounge called Cameo, where unfortunately his ops found out about it, infiltrated the party, and shot him up 9 times, leaving him in critical condition. Just as this man was about to cross over to the US scene, leaving him in critical condition. Just as this man was about to cross over to the US scene, they orchestrated that hit on him. Now thankfully, Robert Banks is alive, but he's paralyzed from the neck down, and his ops were super disrespectful, posting memes of him in a wheelchair and stuff. Now he's still doing his thing, releasing tracks and of course pushing the rappers from Driftwood on his label, but the rivals going after Robert Banks like that really escalated the violence in the city, and it made it kind of a trophy for people to target rappers. This was like the first high-profile assassination attempt on a rapper who was about to cross over. Now the next year, the most influential artist out of the country,
crabs in a bucket right here, you hear that?
On a rapper who was about to cross over. Now the next year, the most influential artist out of the country was Smoke Dogg. Now I'm not from Toronto, you don't gotta be from Toronto to know Smoke Dogg. He was getting co-signed by Drake, doing shows in the UK and the US, and he's from the place called Regent Park. Now this is pretty much the trenches, right? It's the lowest income community in the whole city, but it's not
I knew he was from Canada because of Trap Geek, but I ain't really know much about his whole life though.
Close to Driftwood, and because of that, they didn't really have too much tension back and forth until one summer night at a club in 2018, Smoke Dogg got into a heated argument with a Driftwood rapper by the name of 21 Neat, and this shit escalated quickly, right? They stepped outside where 21 Neat shot and killed Smoke Dogg and his manager. Probably one of the most gruesome after death videos I've seen of a rapper, right? People were filming him and Smoke Dogg's brain matter was like leaking on the road. It was a wild scene. Now this pretty much gave Regent the green light to go after Driftwood as retaliation. And this created a whole bunch of new problems in the city where two neighborhoods that otherwise created a whole bunch of new problems in the city where two neighborhoods that otherwise didn't have too much tension now had maximum levels of tension. And Drift retaliation. This pretty Smoke Dogg's brain matter was like leaking on the road. It was a wild scene. Now this pretty much gave Regent the green light to go after Driftwood as retaliation. And this created a whole bunch of new problems.
I'm looking that shit up.
Two neighborhoods that otherwise didn't have too much tension now had maximum levels of tension. And Driftwood didn't really care, like they were welcoming all smoke. Now the Toronto police didn't arrest the rapper 21 Neat for quite some time. They couldn't find him. There were even rumors that he escaped to Somalia, but he eventually got found out all the way out in the west coast of the country near Vancouver, where he was extradited back to Toronto to stand trial for the murder of Smoke Dogg. Now this is when the story gets wild because 21 Neat has a brother who goes by the name of 22 Neat, right? They're both from Driftwood, they're from the same block as Pressa, Robin Banks, they're all homies, which is why it was weird when everyone found out 5 months ago in December of 2019, 22 Neat killed his own homie and fellow rapper on their label named YS.
What?
5 months ago in December of 2019, 22 Neat killed his own homie and fellow rapper on their label named YS. YS had just
There's a lot of gang activity going on in this video. God damn.
Why Neat?
The song is ass, but the vibe is there. I don't know how to explain it, but the vibe is there. I feel it. It's kind of like when Chief Keef was popping up on that. These bitches love so. Oh, and I know we're fucking with them old boys. You gonna get fucked over. I don't know, like it's not the best, but the
killed
vibe
his own
is there.
homie and fellow rapper on their label named YS. YS had
The gotta get killed me.
just gotten back. YS had just
I think it's just a video. I think it's just the music.
gotten back from doing a bit in jail, and he was on a bunch of tracks that were getting hundreds of thousands of views, and out of nowhere the feds found YS's body all the way out on the west coast of the country near Vancouver. And the rumors started circulating that 22 Neat, his own homie, was the one who pulled the trigger. Nobody really knows why he did it, but some people say it was over money. That's not been confirmed. Anyways, 22 Neat knew there would be repercussions, so he fled to a place called Calgary, Alberta. But he didn't last long. They actually found him dead 2 days later, as revenge for what he did to the homie YS. Now at this point, the city's in crisis, and Driftwood was putting out all this talent, but this horrific stuff kept happening.
Yeah, 30-30.
The next to pop out of the city was this rap duo formed by two brothers from Driftwood known as the Talib Twins. They had this track with 5 million views that was scorching hot in the city and in the US as well, before one of the twins eventually got locked up. So the other twin decided to keep the momentum going and kept releasing these fire tracks under the name the Talib Twin. In February of 2020, the Talib Twin was at a condo party on the 32nd floor of an Airbnb rental when two of his ops infiltrated the party and started opening fire. The Talib Twin fired back and managed to kill both of them before he himself died at the scene. And there's a bunch of speculation as to what happened. I mean, you can't make this shit up, right? Like, some people say he tripped and shot himself, but the feds believe he went into another room in the condo and just ended his own life. Like, the story's crazy, and the thing with Driftwood and the politics in the city is they beef with so many places that sometimes it's
real ass nigga give a fuck about it. Yo, this nigga got opt on, like, ambushed. Like, it's so easy to kill somebody when it's not like a one, like when they both don't know what's up. It's so easy to just surprise you motherfucker. Brat, you see what I'm saying? This nigga managed to kill both of them, and they surprised his ass. And I guess he had some severe injury, so he just shot himself. That's crazy. Anyway, I'm finna watch Smoke Dog's death right now, or I think it looks like it was this one.
It's hard to say who is responsible for targeting them. They got a lot of enemies. And then, of course, at the end of May, the single biggest name out of Toronto who's not Drake or Tory Lanez or The Weeknd was the rapper Houdini. Now, as I said in my intro, this is a kid who is sitting down with record labels in New York and Los Angeles. He was gonna go places. But unfortunately, as the trend is in the city, Houdini was in the entertainment district of Toronto late in the afternoon. And little did he know, there was a Volkswagen Tiguan that was lying in wait on the east side of a street called Blue Jays Way, which is right where he had to go by. They were waiting for a long time, over 40 minutes. And Houdini was with a 15-year-old boy at the time, and they were making their way down the street. And once they got in range of the Volkswagen, a lone shooter got out of the vehicle and started unloading a bunch of clips in Houdini's direction. There was this little kid who was caught in the crossfire, as well as a family. Like, this whole thing is on CCTV footage, right? It's heart-wrenching. And they unloaded a bunch of clips into Houdini, who got hit and kept running, right? Adrenaline, even if you get wounded mortally, you could still run because you got adrenaline. So he was running with a bunch of bullets.
Even that kid who got stabbed up, he was mistaken for somebody else and got stabbed up in New York. He ran his ass all the way to the damn hospital. And he got stabbed up so many times, but he ran his junior. Rest in peace. He ran all the way to the hospital with all that adrenaline pumping. Bro. Fuck, he just needed some help. He needed help just a little bit sooner. Just somebody needed to help him just a little bit sooner. And
it's in his body, and then eventually collapsed and died. In the 50s, right? Adrenaline, even if you get wounded mortally, you could still run because you got adrenaline. So he was running with a bunch of bullets in his body, and then eventually collapsed and died. And the 15-year-old kid who was with Houdini was also strapped, and he was trying to get off shots back at the assailants, and then his gun jammed, right?
How about to say, because why you walking around with jits knowing you got, like, heat on you, like you that hot? But that nigga was strapped.
Which he got rid of in an alleyway and ran away. Now, Meek Mill, Tory Lanez, and a whole bunch of others.
The last nigga said, pop, 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 jam, 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 jam. Fuck, ran off, dipped that bitch shit, went home. Like, fuck, they got that nigga.
Social media to express their condolences as soon as this happened, and you could see just how much the industry was rocking with Houdini. Like, this was a kid who was about to make it. But just look at Toronto. The city is in shambles right now. Like, the retaliation killings have already been ordered. Houdini's own memorial got shot up in this ridiculous video you can see on YouTube. It's like this drive-by style video where out of the darkness this car pulls up, starts opening fire into a crowd. The whole crowd is strapped up, so they immediately start firing back. But this shit is nuts. I know this happens in the States, it's nothing new.
I bet they were
calling
strapped up as
Toronto the
rappers.
city of the fallen rappers because the trend recently of the up and coming rappers who are now dead is just unparalleled. Like, you can't compare it. But yeah, man, that's it for this video. Rest in peace to Houdini. Gone but not forgotten.
We got
Check
these
out his
rappers
music when you get
like
a chance.
21
And yeah, man, I'll see you in the next one.
And they can't even prove their real authenticity. Meanwhile, these niggas is just dropping. That shit's crazy. Catch me with a subscribe.